outro.
That's fine. I think the video.
Live from the law office of Erin Morse Studios in beautiful downtown Orlando, it's Live with Erin Morse. The only live Q&A where you can ask your legal questions and have them answered live on the air. And now, Erin Morse.
This side of my face is nice.
So I can put the camera in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the nice part of my face.
I want to make it so it's not like zoomed in on you.
Like just the 4 nose hairs I have.
All right, we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Erin Morse Live. We are sitting down right here with attorney Erin Morse. We don't have the camera on me because I am not that pretty, but I do have the voice, so that's what gets me through life itself.
You have a face for radio?
I do. So, Erin, how are you doing tonight?
Very good. How are you?
Doing good. We're trying out a new format because this is basically going to be the first episode of Erin Morse's podcast.
Yes. It's an interesting new development or a new way that we're going to try to, see if we can bring this information to all the many people that want to see it.
The running joke that we have here in Orlando is that there's, and the numbers are fake, but it's just for the joke. There's 350,000 people in Orlando and 470,000 podcasts.
Yeah.
On top of that, so it's like every one of their mothers, and probably like there are people that have podcasts for their dogs. That all they talk about is their dogs in general.
No one cares.
Some will get followings. I mean, sometimes you just want to get away and listen about dogs the whole time. What's your escape?
I have a I love my 8-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the difference of the world, right? He's an interesting little human, at least to me. I enjoy spending time with my husband, naturally. I do what I do because I believe that people should get out of their bad relationships and have the opportunity to be in good ones.
Oh, no, 100%.
So, that's something that is a firm belief of mine. I do love my business. My business is my baby. But I have a lot of you guys know that follow me that I like superheroes. That's a strange interest of mine.
You are a avid lover of the Marvel and DC universe.
I do. I make sure to introduce them all to my sons. So I don't know. I find them very interesting. My favorite happens to be like the Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
So you're more DC than anything.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see share because I'm going to put it on my camera so that you know what? No, we're fine. Yeah, they want to see Erin. Everybody.
No, you should be on it too. It's awkward. It looks like I'm talking to myself.
And let me put this up. But no, you know what? Since we're doing a podcast now, let me talk to you in regards to like what was it that got you into law? Like, was that your goal from like little baby Erin, or what happened?
So when I was young, I'm talking elementary school young, I wanted to be a model.
Really?
Yeah. My grandmother did a lot of modeling. And I thought that was really cool and interesting. And, somehow being in the spotlight really spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a dream of doing that. And then come middle school, I stopped getting taller.
Oh,
I know I'm 5'2", so modeling was out the door. But probably in high school, I wanted to be a lawyer.
It sucks that the modeling world like only wants tall. Like there are beautiful short women out there.
Yeah, we're cute as hell.
Exactly. Fun size, bite size.
That's right.
All the sizes.
I just, and especially when I was coming of age, if you will,
mm-hmm.
What was really trendy at that time was that like super, super tall, skinny, the heroin.
Yeah.
Chic.
The, oh my God. Who's a model from the 90s that?
Kate.
No, Kate Upton is like the early 2000s, but Kate Moss.
Yes.
Kate Moss was the popular one back in the day.
Yeah. Very skinny, very skinny.
I can't even fathom how you what you have to go through on a daily basis to stay that.
No, I'm hungry. I just couldn't do it, right? I never tried. Let me be clear. Come high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. I really liked the idea of being both intellectual and having that opportunity to be on a stage, which is a courtroom. So, I had a client today, ironically, ask me if I was comfortable with being and going to court, or if I was scared to go to court. And I was like, oh, no.
Whoa, really?
I was like,
this was the first time he must have talked to you.
I know. I was like, welcome. I love going to court. I said, now I will always do my job to protect settlement, because that's what's best for you. If we can settle and get it on your terms and reduce your costs, that's naturally what I want to do, because that's what's best for my clients. And that's why I'm in this business. Right.
Yeah.
But I love going to court. I find it interesting. And sometimes there are just genuine issues that the parties disagree on. It doesn't necessarily mean that I hate the other side or the other attorney is bad, or, we have a legal system for a reason, because
and I'm listening. I'm just getting my camera ready as well.
How the facts apply. I'll just talk to myself. How the facts apply to the law is really interesting. And especially in family law, right? It's a
court of equity and not a court of not civil litigation, which is just getting your money damages, and it's not criminal, where it's constitutional rights of freedom and those kind of things.
And I'm gonna that thing is making noise, so let me plug this in so it doesn't make noise.
All right.
Yeah. There we go.
So be more quiet.
No. It was just my speaker on my phone was playing the audio we're doing right here.
So how many podcasts is this for you now that you're
third? This is well, technically, because what we do with the live Q&A doesn't really constitute a podcast. It's just live blog or vlog, I should say. This would be the fourth official podcast.
That's why the numbers in Orlando triple.
Exactly. Because all of us have like multiple podcasts.
Right.
And I'll see if that'll work. Because I have Stan, but I don't want to leave. There we go. That'll work.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Boom, 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 boom.
No.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties, people. There we go. All right, that'll work. That works. Let me zoom out on my face. There it is. Okay. So where we left off in regards to like you wanting to pursue law.
Yeah, I think that it spoke to both the side of me that is intellectual and that wanted to be intellectual, and the side of me that can have the opportunity to be on stage and perform. I'm also a very, A-type personality. I like being an advocate. I also found it really important to me to do something, right? To have purpose with my life, for me to do things that generally help either a person or something, right? I wanted to do something for a good reason.
Do you feel that mentality was instilled upon you by your mom, or like you developed it as you were growing up?
I feel like it was always there, right? So
because we pick up traits from our parents.
Right, of course, definitely. My mom's a nurse, right? So, of course she had this inclination to help people and naturally. So it felt like it was always there, right? That was always, you always do what's right, what's good for people, what's helpful, what's kind. And, I tell my son whenever he's going over someone's house or doing anything, I'm like, be helpful and kind, right? Yeah. Be helpful. So, you don't want to be a burden on people.
I love how Kyle right now in the comments was like, there's an echo, and I forgot that I had to mute the mic on my phone so it doesn't pick up, since we're using the actual badass equipment now.
Womp womp. Should be all right now.
But growing up and wanting to pursue law, like, did you always have like that toughness or that aggressive approach to life? Because
ironically, I am less aggressive than I was when I was a teenager.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this. We're going into this one deep.
When I was a teenager, I was probably more aggressive. I was a little bit more mouthy.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bit more, I would tell like anyone to fuck off. I just, it didn't, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't very trusting of people.
Was it the environment or your neighborhood or
a little bit, right? don't want to get into super details about where I grew up or
Yeah.
the details of it. It's not, I didn't grow up the best area of town. And I, by my very nature, I just don't take any shit. And I wasn't impressed with the people who I was surrounded with by the nature of my town. I thought they were kind of, of low quality. There was a fairly high amount of that. And I didn't care for it. I didn't participate in it. I had goals, right? I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I knew I had things to do. And in my mind, I was like, I got shit to do and you're in my way, right? So step aside. I had a really bad habit, and it took me a long time to grow out of it, that when a conversation was over, I'd be like, all right, conversation's over, goodbye. And I would just hang up the phone, right? Or I would just hang up the phone when a conversation was over, right? I have a really hard time with small talk.
Okay.
I still to this day, like I struggle with it.
We've touched base on this multiple times,
Yeah.
and I've overhear the conversations, and sometimes I'm actually part of it, and I'm like part of me takes is like, yo, Pat, pull back on this small talk with Erin in the morning.
I don't care for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel very awkward.
It's
with
not your
small
cup
talk.
of tea.
It's not. So when I have to have small talk in places where I'm doing business, at the doctor's office, wherever I need to, I typically try to make a joke or try to, just increase the friendliness or something, right?
Yeah.
Try to make it more funny or pull out my charm.
Basically like breaking the ice.
I do, because the small talk makes me feel so awkward that I'm like, well, right? I try to make a joke. I break the ice with most people. Some people are like, and they don't care, but for the most part, I break the ice with people. When I do my consultations, I'm like, let's get right into it. Tell me what you got for questions. I like to start these by letting you tell me a little bit about what's going on, asking the questions that are your burning questions, right? Get right to it.
Yeah.
Right. Rather than, hi, how are you? My name is Erin and I'm a lawyer and I've been a lawyer. Like, I don't go through that with my clients. They didn't call me to hear me.
No, they don't want your biography. They want problem solved. Like they want action.
They're like, I need to speak to you because I got some questions. I got some problems and I need your help. I'm like, all right, tell me about it. Let's get into it. I like to start with, going through that. I typically, will tell them any questions. Like, do you have any questions for me? Like, what can I answer for you? I like to get right into it because nobody's getting on the phone with me because they're like, I wanted to talk to you so I could just hear you talk the whole time. No, you have a question you need me to answer. That's really important for me. That I take the opportunity to, be responsive to what your questions.
Yeah.
Same thing with my current clients that I have. I'm like, hi, I know we set up a consultation here. I set up a call here today. Tell me what's going on. Did you see my email? I did see your email, but I want you to have the chance to ask me the question that is imperative for you to have answered. I'm happy to answer. You don't need to hear me just blah, blah, blah. You need me to answer your question. And then I'll move into what I have to say. I can always get my point across, but if you don't have the chance to be heard, what are we even doing here?
Exactly. No. And the one thing that people need to understand, I mean, you're accessible to your clients, to your staff, but people need to understand that you have multiple clients, you have multiple staff that you need to address on a daily basis, and we make it clear to our clients that you are a priority. We're here to help. Your well-being and the safety and security of your children and your family is our top concern. Emails come in all the time, and sometimes I remember the other day, I was looking through mine. I went away for 5 minutes. I came back to 15 emails.
Yeah,
and some internal, some from clients, and we have to attack each one. And sometimes there are moments where one email will take maybe 15-20 minutes because
I have 45 minutes. I got to review the docket, create a legal strategy, or respond to it. Sometimes it's overwhelming. I sit at my emails all day. I don't mind, right? I don't mind. I do prefer that if a client wants to send me an email and then discuss it, that maybe we set up a call.
Yeah.
I'd like them to have the chance to hear my inflection, ask me some question, ask some follow-up questions, right? So we're not in this chain of respond and email and respond and email and respond, right? Like we're in an messenger chat.
Yeah.
That just isn't efficient for anybody.
Oh,
right?
no, not one bit. And usually when we set up consultations with new clients, we're telling them, hey, have your questions ready. If you want to, write them down before coming in, so at least you're not wasting either the attorney's time or your time.
I want you to have your questions answered.
Yeah.
That's important to me. That's why I start that way. What do you have for questions? Let me answer them. I'm here for you, right? This is about you. This is about your case. That's important to me. So, I realize that some clients don't always get that from attorneys. I will tell you, I'm to the point. I'm going to tell you the truth you need to hear, but that's kind of where we're at.
Amy, she giving you a little love right there.
Yeah. Love Amy. Long time best friend.
But going into that, like your decision to go into law school, like what was the struggle that you faced, once you started taking your first steps towards that field?
I'm poor. Going to law school is very expensive. You can't really work.
Mm-hmm.
I started working in law when I was 19. I remember I had my 21st birthday at a law firm, right? We went to lunch and he said he bought me my first legal drink, right? He obviously knew better.
Yeah.
But, that's the first time I ever had a drink. But, so I had been now I knew I needed to work in the legal industry, first of all, because I knew the amount of loans I was going to undertake.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite to the extent, but I knew I was going to have to take out loans.
So just ballpark figure, every year, prices go up.
330.
Wow. That
cool.
damn is a
With
lot.
amortizing interest.
Oh, gee, Christ.
Right?
That's I can't even fathom that. That number is insane. I went to school for aviation, so it was a fraction of that, and I was able to get some scholarships, get some grants to help out in that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I used my race. I used my color to take advantage of programs and scholarships that were out there
Right.
for people, of me. I know it seems. I don't know if I want to say it seems unfair, but
It's not.
once in a while, I mean, there are programs out there to help people, and if you want to move ahead, I mean, take advantage as much as you can of the opportunities that you have available and the resources that you have available to move forward.
Right.
Now, with your background and with your experience, you basically busted your ass to.
Oh, are you talking about the fact that I had a 5-month-old when I started law school?
What? What? How did that happen? Well, not how did that happen, but
well, yeah, I, have had a lifetime of many struggles. I became a widow 2 years ago, so that was a hell of a battle that I fought through. I found out I was expecting the same day I got my LSAT results.
oh my! Wait. So the day you were expecting to deliver, or
No, the day I got my results, and then I was like, Aunt Flo is a little late. Probably not. Let me just take a
the test?
surprise.
Oh man! So the same day you found out about the LSATs was the same day you found out.
Right. So I did really well on the LSAT.
That's awesome.
Right. Really well at getting.
So now, all right. I'm going to correct me.
Sure.
So single mom,
No.
you were already married.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so young mother.
We were like, this was at the time, but it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
We were married at our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So, or we were engaged when we found out we were expecting. Then we got married. So, birth certificate now.
So do you guys just go to the courthouse and get that done, or you?
Yeah, we went to the courthouse, got the paperwork, and had a friend who's a notary sign the paperwork.
Nice.
It's not complicated.
Quick and easy.
We had our wedding, and that little human who I still have, he was at the wedding. So.
No, I've seen pictures, and that I mean, the picture itself is beyond words. So yeah, now you're in law school. You're busting your ass. You have a newborn. Like what are the daily struggles on someone like that?
To me, I was so happy to go to law school. This is where it's going to get weird. I liked law school. It was fun. It was exciting. I was really working towards a lifetime goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, the struggles were other things like financially, right? I had to take out loans and partially loans to live. I was on food stamps and WIC, and I was one of those people with the big coupon binder because that was the only way I could pay for diapers and stuff. So I figured out how to make sure that I could really reduce my cost on those as best I could, and paper towels and everything. I had, I think, a weekly budget for groceries of about $65. So that's groceries, that's diapers, that's everything I needed for my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, couponing and being resourceful was imperative for me. Because I had to use daycare only while I was at school because my husband was working, but he would work really long days to support us kind of and keep that balance. Because he was working in restaurants at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I did that. It's crazy. So I would get my homework done during the day during nap time. And when my son outgrew naps, I had to give him quiet time in his room. So I put a TV and a DVD player because we had Netflix, but it only worked on one TV because when you're poor, things are complicated, right? It just is what it is.
The struggle is real.
Right. So the DVDs that at Goodwill were the old school Tom Train.
Oh,
it was a kind of claymation or whatever they used, right? The actual those. He loved them. He would watch them, right? When a child doesn't know better and they're 2-ish.
I grew up on Ghostbusters,
right.
Yeah, the first one. No. I grew up on the second one, and it was dubbed in Spanish. So by the time I was like 4 or 5, I can quote that movie from beginning to end, and like beginning of my life
in español.
And when I found out that, wait a second, this movie's in English, it blew my mind. And then watching it again as a child, and then understand, like, there were some words in Spanish, but then watching it in English, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. Because it
doesn't translate perfectly.
Exactly, like you lose some of the funniness behind a joke in translation.
Right.
So with
the other DVD my son had was this cartoon called Aldo. Which is an alligator and a duck who are friends.
Okay. I think I've heard of it. I think.
He thought alligators were cool. I don't care. It was at Goodwill. I was like, he needs this. So he knew that there was a certain amount of time that equaled the amount of time that quiet time was over.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, they made those little snack things that, if you dump them over, they don't leak.
The snack things.
Okay. Don't pretend like you don't. And toddler sippy cup. He'd get a sippy cup of water. He'd get his little snack thing, and obviously he was wearing diapers at the time, so it was like 2 hours I could keep him in there,
mm-hmm.
right? 2 to 2.5 hours. So that was always my goal, right?
Yeah.
And if I could get him to stay in there for 2 hours, I could do my day's worth of reading. I didn't realize you should be doing 2 hours of reading for every hour that you're in class.
Oh.
Like for 4 hours. So how much homework should I have been doing?
About 8 hours.
Right.
Damn. But you only have in that seat 2
That's
hours.
All I had.
So
all I had.
So you were cramming all that into a span of 2+ hours?
I didn't know per se, right? Like no one tells that to you until at some point where they're like, yep, but this is what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get it done. Or when I got home around 10 o'clock, because I had to be in the evening program. When I got home around 10 o'clock, I do maybe an hour. So I do about 3 hours of homework. But I can read really fast.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You taught me a really cool trick, and I'm actually up now to books that I'm reading.
Right.
So thank you for that.
You're
I learned something new from Erin.
So, I could get through materials really fast. I didn't realize that I read faster than is average. I didn't know. I was a relatively average student in school, and
you were a young Superman realizing your powers.
I'm Smallville. But because I'm again, just like Clark Kent, I'm from a really small town, right? So when you're exceptional and you're from a small town, no one notices.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a single mom for much of my upbringing. So the fact that I was doing well in school, I was an AB student, was like, yeah, good, you have to be, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd beat your ass for a C, and that's, did you eat? Right?
I had the same upbringing. Like my mother would literally beat my ass for bringing anything like a B or below. Like she wanted excellence. She wanted
Right. And
honor
it was just
roll.
norm.
Yeah.
Right. And my mom did a great job at making sure that I achieved my goals and I was really independent.
Mm-hmm.
So it was only natural that I opened up this office, right? It really was. It just made sense to me. It made getting through and working hard and figuring it out on my own really good. So that upbringing really helped. I don't know. I felt a lot like the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just keep grinding at it, I don't know. It seems to be working.
Well, at that
kind
point,
of.
when you just said, like, the harder you work, get, no, I think right there, and I'm sorry for contradicting or just going against you on that. You're getting the fruits of your labor. You're busting your ass.
Well, that's the joke.
Yeah.
Right? That's the irony.
Ah.
That's the irony. I'm not, whenever somebody would like to look at me and go, "You're so lucky." No, I'm not. I'm hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all of this looks like luck, right?
It's
and
not.
my fancy shoes and the car you might envy and this office and all of the things. But the truth of the matter is, the truth of the matter is I'm not lucky. I'm hardworking, right? So the harder I work, the luckier I appear to other people.
Gotcha. So
you are right, and you took it the right way.
I took it the right way. So fast forwarding through law school, you make it towards the end, and what was that feel like? The fact that you finally finishing law school.
So finally finishing law, actually really it's not that fun.
Okay, and that's funny because I hear the same thing from other attorneys.
You got to take the bar.
Mm.
You ain't even done. They're like, oh, that will right. So you're done, and that's the bar. Fuck. So the last year of law school, you have like this impending doom of the bar exam, right? I didn't go to a tier 1 law school. I didn't go to a tier 3 law school. I had to go where it was local to my husband working because I had a baby. I couldn't move, right? So I went to a law school, not the best law school. It is what it is, whatever.
Yeah.
And I graduated a semester early, which meant I was taking the February bar. Well, February bar has statistics of people passing at lower rates, right? It's a harder bar exam. I don't know. I just remember what they told me at school. So my law school has a low bar passage rate. There is a multiplier on having a family that makes it a low bar passage rate. If you worked during law, which I did
So you were against the
grain for sure.
Yeah.
Having a husband lowers your likelihood of passing. Having a child, having worked during law school, and having gone part-time. All of those things end up being kind of these multiple, or so they say. Right now, I don't know that anyone can really garnish these statistics accurately, and I'm not prepared to argue them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what my law school told me. So no fucking pressure. Also, I can't afford to take it twice.
And how much is it to take the bar exam?
Well, the exam itself, I want to say, is in the bar of 200, right? It's the course that you have to take. That's like $2,000.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, you can't work while you're studying for the bar. You just can't. The math doesn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
You need to spend between 10 and 12 hours a day studying. You're watching these videos, you're doing practice exams and questions, you're preparing outlines, it's an intense amount of study. So my husband and I knew we had to budget for me not working because at some point during law school, I got a job as a law clerk. Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't study, can't work while I'm taking the bar exam. So I asked my boss, if you don't mind, I'm going to take the time off to study. And I still had my son. So, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right? Because he'd come home and he'd be like, Mom, are you going to watch the videos with the weird guys? He was like 3 at this point. So he would watch bar prep videos with me. And again, I had no choice. Like,
no.
Like,
that's
makes sense.
That makes a lot of effing sense. Wow.
At 3 years old, he was watching bar prep videos.
And
he lived a different life than you.
He really did. I grew up with, what was it, telenovelas and Jerry Springer in the north side of Chicago.
And Connor grew up with the rule of perpetuity.
The ongoing joke that we have here that you say is that Connor is basically like 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I love the kid to death. And every experience that I have with him is always a pleasure because I honestly God think like the kid's more mature than I am. He really is. And like, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I know.
He's like, I know, I have it. That's
It's like all you're missing is a cocktail in your hand, and we could be like
right. A
we could be
pipe
best friends.
and a robe.
Yeah.
You know, he's so yeah. He unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. When he was younger, I was studying for the bar exam, so I had no one to talk to. So I'm pushing him in the stroller, and this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an A-type personality. I need to talk a lot. And I felt like speaking to a child helps them grow their vocabulary. I don't know if that's true, but in my mind, the mom in me was like, this could work. Meh.
I'm gonna mold him to a 30. Yeah.
If I just talk and he hears words,
Mm-hmm.
he smiles, right? That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I've got to think about what law school exam I'm going to take. So I'm like reading my outlines to my.
Yeah. So you're basically like putting him to sleep to Florida statutes.
I just what I don't know. I have to review this material. You need interaction with your mother because children need that.
Yeah, child development.
And I love him and he's cool. And I would rather have had an opportunity to spend time with him. Why not do both?
Yeah.
You know me. I work here. I'm a savage.
Exactly.
I'm crazy. So I don't know. I found a way to balance it. I was on a mission.
So being able to balance all that, the day comes, you go in for that bar exam. Yeah, I saw your eye. Yeah. Tell me about the day, like the night
So
before.
I had the flu.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. My mom came down because my mom is super supportive. She's amazing. And I did not want to stay at the same hotel as the other bar exam takers. Remember what I said about the people who are around me? And in my mind, a lot of times I'm like, I'm different than you.
Yeah.
Right? I can't deal with I don't follow the masses, right? I'm one of those people that unless I believe in it or I stand behind it,
Mm-hmm.
I can't follow, right?
Kyle just posted, Erin's kid is probably smarter than me. I just had to put that one up there.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. But he, so my mom came down and I stayed at a hotel separate than what the other bar students were staying at. Because they were these balls of anxiety. They like lived in this. What did you answer for this question? I'm studying for this. I don't know that. I did the same thing when I was studying during law school. Students would get anxious and that anxiety radiates.
Yeah.
And I don't want to absorb it. So when I don't want to be around something like that, I was like, no, I would like protect my space. So I stayed at a different hotel that was a little bit further away. Well, my mom came down and was like, let me use, she has like points because she has a timeshare.
Okay.
And she was like, let me use my points. I can use it here locally. And we're going to stay somewhere. It's like 15 minutes away. She's like, but I'll come down. I rented a car and I'll drive you to and from. So you don't have to think about anything, right? I'll take you to, we'll go to dinner that night. We'll get a massage, whatever we have to do.
Wow.
Yeah, she's super supportive. It really was helpful. Also I can't take it a second time, right? Like we as a family knew I had to make this work, right?
Yeah.
Now, in general, I don't fail,
Mm-hmm.
right? As you know, you see every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing nothing half-ass. I won't do it. I don't want to. I don't like it. It's not who I am. So the bar exam was included in that. So my mom stayed with me and she would drop me off and pick me up. Well, my mom, she's a nurse. Remember that nurse?
Yeah.
The viruses? It was February, flu season.
Oh, shit.
She brought it down. She was like, I just have a light sniffle. Well, you're in basically you're in quarantine for 2 months because all you do is study, right? All you're doing is you're on your laptop listening to the weird guys. We're listening to the weird guys.
Yeah.
So, I hadn't had much exposure. I didn't go get a flu shot because I was just so focused, trying to fall off the radar. I did no cooking. I did no cleaning. I made no meal. I didn't do anything. I didn't go get a flu shot. That wasn't the time to get your teeth cleaned. Like you just put everything on hold. It's only 2.5 months.
Yeah.
It's only 2.5 months. I have to do this. I have to do this the one time. Everything else can fucking wait. Right? Unless it was an emergency or the bar exam, I ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I I made sure I got enough sleep. I made sure I loved on my baby because I need him, right?
Yeah.
I also needed to have that. It was like worth it for me, right? I do this for you. You're going to have a better life for this. I promise. I know these guys are weird. Swear to God, it will pay off. And Connor was like, okay, we'll watch the weird guys. And he would just like drive his little trucks because he was into trucks. And so my mom comes down. She brings me the flu. I'm like achy, sore, runny nose, coughing, nauseous, everything. I'm awful. Bad flu. I can't take the bar exam a second time.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't. I was afraid to take Dayquil because I'm like, is this going to make me foggy? So I didn't take Dayquil, right?
So you didn't take any medication? Did you take any medication?
No,
or?
I was scared that it was going to make me foggy. What if I can't focus?
Mhm.
Like I'm like, I don't know. I'm not willing to risk this. So I'm like, my nose is so runny that the proctor sees me, and you're in this huge room, right? This is not how they're taking the bar exam this year, but you're in this large room at like a Tampa Convention Center, and it's 2 people to a table. It's like those tables that, the tables that open up.
Yeah.
The
Oh, the tables. Okay.
Okay, 2 people to a table, and then the proctors do the rounds, right? There's about 2,025 people in one room.
Jesus.
So I'm there, I'm sneezing, and my nose is like an open faucet.
Oh.
The proctor realized that I was sick. I'm like wearing a sweater because I have fever chills. I'm shaking. I'm sweating. I'm cold. I'm sweating. I'm cold. So the proctor noticed this, that I needed to keep getting up for a tissue. And he was so kind. He noticed how often I had to get up for a tissue that he would come by my desk every time he took a round, and he would bring me another tissue.
Oh.
And he would just bring me another tissue. And then he did the same thing the next day. Right?
Yeah.
On both days when I left, he was like, I really hope you feel better. If the person who sat at my table failed the bar exam, she blamed me. Coughing, sneezing. I was distracting as hell. I finished early. Again, I'm that quick reader.
Yep.
So I was able to get to all my questions. I was able to review ones that I starred to remind myself to go back. I did what I needed to do. I passed the Florida and the federal, the MBE.
Mm-hmm.
Our results.
That's fucking insane. You literally pulled a Michael Jordan. You really did, because I think it was the '96 finals or playoffs where he had 102 fever and still like one of his best.
I was pulling 103, 104 fever, and I was unwilling to take Dayquil. So my nurse mom was like, "Erin, you should take something." I'm like, "No. What if my mind wasn't clear?"
Yeah.
Right. And I was groggy. I'm like, I can't, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst time to take the nighttime, like sneezing, coughing, aching stuff. You had fever for to help you out medicine.
TM. Right. No, I wasn't. I was really sick. So then I spent the next week like sleeping off the flu. I literally got the flu and I was like, of course I would, right?
Yeah.
I take the I take the LSAT, bam, pregnant, right? I was like, The bar exam comes around and they're like, bam, the flu. I was like, all right, what else you got, right?
But okay, so oh my, yeah.
Dark to dark.
No. I mean, whatever you're wanting to talk about. This is your introduction to the world right now.
I know.
And
sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're taking a turn, guys. It's so inspirational. Lifetime.
I mean, is it? It's still inspirational, right?
No, it really is. I mean, you were against the odds. You were the
There's
fucking
more.
underdog.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
We're not ready to go there. I'll save that for the TED Talk.
We'll save that for the TED Talk?
When Ted is ready to pay me up.
So we'll put that one aside. When it came time to opening your firm, before in the firm,
Remember, I was a clerk.
You were a law clerk
in a complex business litigation firm, despite the fact that my experience as a paralegal
mm-hmm.
and a receptionist and legal secretary.
You worked all angles of a law firm.
In family law.
Yeah.
Right? I thought I'd take a stab at another area of law. It was complex business litigation, insurance defense, representing general contractors and home builders. And that was cool.
It wasn't your calling.
It wasn't my calling.
What was it?
I did great at it. I did. They hired me as an attorney once I got my bar results. Mm-hmm. It was a great firm to work for. There was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't my calling. My soul wasn't being spoken to. And I told my then husband, my late husband, I was like, hey, I hate this. I was like, I hate this area of law. I don't feel like I'm helping people like directly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care to help a multinational home builder. I don't really care to produce $1.3 million of billables in a year and get paid a very, very, very small fraction of that. I don't care to look at my I'm looking at the lives of the attorneys, right, which would be the highest maybe cap of my future. I was like, I don't know that I want that. I don't think they seem happy enough, or they work.
What was it that just didn't call you?
I just felt like the shit I had to do was mundane. I'm writing letters to insurance company asking for copies of policies. I'm like, a moderately trained paralegal could click a button and create a form for this. Why are they not generating forms for this? The technology exists, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
And how do you know?
Because we use it here.
Because we use it here, right? That's not what people need to be throwing down money for, right? You had to maintain a certain amount of billable hours that was nearly impossible in a regular day. So that meant that I would have to work Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh shit!
I have a family. That's not fair.
No, it's not. And I've seen you like this past weekend. I was driving by from a friend's house, and I saw your car out there, and I noticed the time. I'm like, she's pulling a hard one this weekend, and I'm just gonna let her be, because I know once in a while I could be a bit distracting.
Yeah, it's all right.
But I'm like, okay, if she's at this moment right now, I'm just gonna let her be.
I don't mind working on the weekend. It was the fact that working on the weekend with what I needed to accomplish meant that I'd have to work every weekend. Now, I was meeting my billable goals, but in my mind, I was like, at what cost?
Yeah.
Right? I didn't make Connor suffer through watching the videos of the weird guys to then do the same fucking shit for my whole career and help insurance companies. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Okay.
This is awful. Also, if I succeed, say I knock it out of the park, I win every motion, I'm the major billable, I'm the rock star that I've always been, right? There isn't, you can't put something in front of me that I can't accomplish. I don't even want to be there. They're not happy with there. Or I don't want to get there.
Okay.
It sucks. Right?
Yeah. No. I the only way I can.
And then I didn't help anybody.
I can relate in the sense, because I've had this conversation with you before when I worked at the airport. Mm-hmm. I'd gone to school for aviation, and the money was great. Everything was just peachy. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because I don't know if it was that I wasn't helping people. It was very routine for me. Mm-hmm. And I like change. I like things. I like surprises in a sense. Mm-hmm. And every day was just like clocking in, doing little procedures on an aircraft, and going back to my office and just doing a report.
Yeah. And my boss had walked by my office one time and was like holding his coffee cup, and he was like, Bill. And I was like, I don't fucking think so. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. I didn't suffer like this. I didn't, carry my breast pump on one fucking shoulder and my book bag on the other shoulder for this fucking shit. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Was that like your epiphany right there?
When he said that, I was like, that's the only thing that matters here. I'm like, nothing else matters. Bill for an insurance company.
That's insane.
I was like, eat shit. He was just doing his job.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. That was the other thing. I was like, dude, you are so brilliant. Like, you could really change the world with how intelligent you are. It was inspiring how intelligent he was. And I was like, this is who you give it to? Mm-hmm. These again. He was so intelligent and so articulate and cool and funny. Like I did envy him, right? And I ended up working for the other partner because he was away at an trial.
Okay.
And then I remember trying to speak to that partner because we did general contractor or like large multinational home builders, right? And I had access through my husband to get to know a decision maker in another home builder that we didn't represent.
Okay.
Right? Because we would be the counsel for them and they get to choose us. So that would be basically how you land a client. So I go into my partner's office and I talk to him and I'm like, hey, so I know this guy at Schmoboat Home Builders, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know him. He found out what type of law I do. He knows my husband because my husband helped him on a commercial real estate deal.
Okay.
And he found out what type of law I do and invited my husband and I to dinner because he and his wife want to get to know us, whatever, right? Anyway, he's a decision maker in this company. This is what we do. What can you guide me or teach me or let me know what you do to land a client? You know, what would be the things that I want to say? How do you typically handle it? You as the partner. I knew that there were two paths to becoming partner if I really wanted to succeed in this career. Was either you bill like crazy. That ain't gonna happen. I don't.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense, right? Or you bring in clients. I was like, well, I could bring in clients. I could speak to somebody. I think that I'm likable enough that I probably could land a client. He sought me out. He knew my husband. He liked him. He had spoken to me kind of casually, right? And he thought I was interesting and intelligent and he wanted to have dinner with me to discuss what I do for work and them, right?
Okay.
Again, it was a business
Yeah.
dinner. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, you know, Mike, that's not his name. Mike, what do you do? How do you handle this? How did you land, you know, Schmosenheimer home builders?
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you do? What do you tell them? How do you pitch them? Any pointers? I know him. He does know me. He knew me while I was in law school. Now that he knows the area of law that I practice, he's like, interesting. Let's have dinner. I'm like, he reached out to me. I'm like, this is a good lead. I said, they're a bigger home builder than the home builders we have.
Okay.
So this is big fish. What do you want me? He was like, well, why don't you bring him in here or we'll go out to lunch and I'll go with you. And I was like, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
I said, he wants to have dinner with my husband and I, with him and his wife.
Do you feel like he was trying to snag that?
Naturally. He was
Okay.
like, I won't take credit for it, blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, and I was like, he doesn't want to meet with you.
Mm-hmm.
He already was clear. He doesn't want to meet with you. You're not the person he wants to meet with.
Yeah.
And I saw him get insulted. And I was like, that's not what he said. And I remember in my mind that I was like, I'm too mouthy to be like underneath someone, right? I should have known better, but I couldn't help myself. I reiterated my point. He didn't ask to meet with you.
Mm-hmm.
He asked to meet with me because he knew me.
Yeah.
He knew me before I became an attorney. And now that I'm an attorney, he's interested to speak with me. I'm like, that doesn't tell you something you need to hear?
Your hard work was speaking loudly for you.
How about I'm a badass motherfucker?
You-
And people see me and they're like, you know what? I'd like her to represent my interests. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, you don't see that, bro? Like, that's how I felt. I didn't get that rowdy, but
Yeah.
it is how I felt. Like, you don't see that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that I'm this valuable, that people who know me and people who know me outside of even just being here in front of you see that I'm a valuable attorney and that I have the capability of bringing money to this firm and bringing value very quickly. I've been an attorney for 2 months. I got a lead on a real big fish. What say you? And he couldn't deliver. It was like his ego got in the way of him.
Ah, shit.
That added to my, or maybe the higher ups or the complexities of the fact that it was a national firm and whatever, made it so he really wasn't capable of allowing me to do that without it maybe hindering his career. But he could either team up with me or eventually be my opponent. Okay, you want to hear a satisfying
I
twist
do.
of fate?
I do.
2.5 years later, after I'd started my own firm, my firm's going well. I have billboards, I'm making things happen,
Yeah.
right? He gets referred to me
Oh.
by another attorney in the community. And the attorney referred him to me and linked us in an email, right? And
Okay.
I knew it was him. And said, "Hey, this is Erin Morse. She's really great at divorces. I know you have a divorce impending, and you should, you should allow her to represent you because I represent a couple of other people that I've gone to law school with, whatever." So,
wow, that is.
and I remember reaching out to him, and I was like, "So glad to hear from you." He never responded, of course. But
Oh my god!
I
that's
knew he
awesome.
would come back from the beach and see my billboard, and I was like, the big picture. I remember there was a very high level of partners because it was a very big national firm. Okay. One of the other partners on the day that I gave my notice came into my office, was like, "Well, what are you going to do?" Like really smugly.
Ooh.
And I said, "Well, I'm going to open my own firm." And she looked at me and she was like, "How will you get clients?"
Really?
Suppose that ain't a problem now, Sally. That's not her name either.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, are you really like you pulling? All right, man, props on that one. Wow, this has been a very, very informative first episode, and I like it because this here is basically letting everyone know you're a fucking badass. Your struggle, your story is, how would I say it? I want to say inspirational, but at the same time, it's like, yo, yours was a fucking struggle.
It ain't over.
It ain't over. Then there are some stones that we haven't turned. But I know we're at the 50-minute mark, and I know you're tired.
Really, I just squawked for 50 minutes. I'm like, sorry. I feel like you guys deserved a more interesting show.
No. No. If you're not satisfied, get the fuck out of here. Okay, we'll listen to something else. But no, I'm so thankful because with the team that we have here, with the people that we work with, talking to Marco, right before we started recording, and something came over, and I'm like, bro, I'm so thankful that our paths crossed. I really am, and the reason why is because I don't think we would have got where we're at now if our paths hadn't crossed. And that was almost a decade, if not more, ago when him and I crossed paths. And I'm so thankful that I have a friend and colleague that I love and trust, and we're able to work together on a daily.
He's talking about. I realized this was vague because I didn't know where he was going with this. I just got on the train. I figured whatever stop we landed at, we'd get there. He's talking about the person Patricio and I in contact with each other. That's who he's talking about. We have not known each other for a decade.
Yeah. And we've known each other now like a little bit over a year. You came on my podcast a while ago, and it's still one of my favorite episodes because it was so informative. But at the same time, I got to make that connection with you, and I'm thankful that
I got to scare you.
You did, and I will admit that the first time I met you, you were extremely intimidating.
I didn't know. I felt like I was being myself. Again, I don't like small talk, so I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, no. I remember like when you walked into our friend's apartment, I think you were wearing a red. No, that was a different time. Because I remember one time you came in a red dress. I think.
Sounds like some shit I do.
But no, that day you were a chill attire, but you still like you demanded attention. You got it, and we had a hell of a show that day, and I'm thankful that we did because that right there developed into a great friendship.
I was trying to poach you for a while, even on that show. I was like, you should come work for me, and I guess now the interpretation is like, bitch, you scary.
And that really was, and when you came at me with the first time that our friend came to me and said, "Hey, Erin wants you," I'm like, I hate family law. I hate it.
I remember, and I was like, man, he's so great.
I prefer criminal. I prefer other things like that, but I just can't do family law.
Irony.
It really is, and the more as the time went on, I started doing a little bit more family law where I was at, but still, I wasn't a fan of it. And I think it was because of the attorneys that I was working with that, if you listen to it, I'm sorry. I'm speaking the damn truth. You didn't have any passion. You didn't have any drive to make sure your clients were satisfied. I saw a lot of settling that should not have been happening, and I saw a lot of unsatisfied clientele. I did my part because I become friends with a lot of clients.
You're a social
I'm a
butterfly.
social butterfly,
Butterfly.
and
That's why you're the marketing guy.
recently I've seen the fruits of my labor flourish because I'm getting a lot of the people that were not happy with that attorney who would try to find me through social media. They're like, no, I want Patrice. I'm like, I'm not an attorney, but I know a badass attorney that can
I'm
help
gonna
you.
take some credit for that
And
because we fixed their cases
you really
that
have.
were really broken,
And they were,
and quickly
yes,
and cost effectively.
yes, and not racking up those bills.
Despite
And
the fact that they will come into our office expecting to pay double and triple what we're like, I'm like, I can accomplish this in this more unique path.
yes, and
Sorry,
no,
Nico.
no, sorry, not sorry on that one. I'm proud, and I'm not kissing your ass. I'm not pulling out the chapstick right here. I'm proud to be working at this
Yeah,
firm, and
thanks.
there's a new career in my path right now that I want to pursue because you opened my eyes to it, and I didn't know that in regards to the area of marketing, I had a little bit of a niche. I didn't realize it.
You didn't realize you were already doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you do this. I'm like, you're already doing this. I'm like, just keep right.
Mhm.
You're already interested in this. I see you. You make things happen in these areas, and you're really good at doing this type of research and understanding. And since you're social, you'll get in touch with these people and meet with them. And I'm like, you're already there. Trust yourself. You can make this happen, and you will be a valuable asset and be very interested in what you do for work. On top of being also a very valuable paralegal, you're very skilled and valuable paralegal. So, I am kissing your ass because it's true.
and I thank you for that for the kind words, not the ass kissing. But no, it's like I'll say it again, and thank you so much for the opportunity for being part of your vision and being part of your journey because we haven't hit the next chapter yet. I know there's so much more for this firm. There's so much more.
Also, looking for a paralegal.
Yes.
Apply within
407-900-7451 or send your email to
Marcos at morse-firm.com. Despite the fact that he receives a lot of emails, be patient and kind with him.
But with all that being said, Erin, once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. To the people that sent the questions, we will save for next week's live Q&A.
Next week will be a little bit more live Q&A. I think we're going to try to do a little bit of a variety on what kind of show we do. If you have an absolute demand of a question and we find that we get quite a few extra questions, we might add an extra show.
Exactly. And I am totally fine with that because I've been podcasting like crazy this weekend.
With all 17 of his podcasts. Actually, all 435 of the 1,000 of the podcasts that exist in Orlando, he's on.
Now that you mentioned that, oh my God, I actually have a guest spot this weekend on Sunday. I thought I was going to be able to go to the beach on Sunday. No, I will be on the offensive line. So shout out to Eric Feeling on that one. But
I tell you.
Yeah. I just realized that I put the ticker on, but we already have a banner that literally says all our information. So I'll just leave that there. If you have questions in regards to family law, whether it's divorce modification, child support, alimony, prenuptial agreement, injunctions, because Alex always kept pushing me, you're forgetting the injunctions. 407-900-7451, morse-firm.com. Give us a call, set up a consultation with Attorney Morse or Attorney Bonilla. We are here to help you find your new normal. I know I just plugged you, Erin, but
if you like hearing about my background, let me know. It was weird to talk about it because I spend so much of my day learning about other people's lives and how I can help them.
Yeah.
So speaking about me and, talking about what it was like to get here, I'm like, ooh, it's kind of awkward. So forgive me. It was a little bit of a different format. I figured you could have the chance to get to know me, some of my background, some of my unique struggles that have been in my past. and the fact that I try to work through all of it, right? Who becomes a widow at 31? Wild. Yeah.
And what you just said.
It was that was a hard time too. That was one of my bigger struggles. I'm happy to talk about it. I share it with some select clients when they that I understand and what it's like to be a parent through that.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't even fathom. I really
Yeah,
can't.
I was someone's mommy, and that I will say, on a quick side note, he really kept me going. Had it not been for him, I think I would have had a much
Different outcome.
yeah, it might have been much more difficult for me, but it was really easy for me to make decisions on like how to be his mommy
Mm-hmm.
than it was to make decisions on how to be a widow. Like I don't know how to be a widow. I still don't know how. I definitely knew how to be a mommy. Like that was an easy one for me. That's why this area of law is easy for me. Not easy, but in a way I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I can help people work through it, and it's important to me because I really know how to be a parent. That came very naturally to me. And my son's fantastic, and I had that like motherly instinct a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to really bring that to my practice, which I think is a bit, different than some old white-haired man.
The video that you have, I watch it all the time because
You have to.
yeah, I have to, and there are things that I've been doing with that video for the marketing. But hearing what he says in that video speaks loudly because
Oh, what he's talking about, let me clarify. I'm gonna teach you about communication, bro.
okay,
What he's talking about is the person who is the speaker in that video is my late husband. We had filmed that video about a month and a half before he passed away unexpectedly. So he makes an appearance by his voice in that video. We actually had a whole scene that he was going to be in about him and I that was going to be included in that video. But when he passed away, I was like, that's too hard for me to watch.
yeah,
So I had to kind of have that carved outside because every time that video came on, I couldn't be like a sobbing mess. I was like, I can't market that video. I want to cry. I really did. It was so, that was a hard thing, but it was really important for me to keep his voice and his spirit. And he was really passionate.
yeah.
So.
No.
So have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Once I have everything set up with the podcast, we'll be able to make it available to everyone on all the platforms because I know how to do that.
That's why you're the man.
407-900-7451. The Law Office of Erin Morse is here for you to help you find your new normal. We'll see you guys next week.